So this one's, what's that? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's okay. Just, if I have any children, my third thumbs or second thumbs or whatever, it's okay. This one, they eventually moved when they got up there in the years. They moved to Coronation Road in a bungalow. Now this is just from 100 Moore Street they moved. From 100 Moore Street, Wednesbury, they moved to a small bungalow near adequate for their age needs. A lot less dust and clean, they'd say. A smaller garden to attend to, and with a lot less weeds. With Mum and Dad, we let ourselves in to the smell of rissoles and fresh meat pies as we walked on through the kitchen. To the living room, where at the table Grandad was sat, keeping kicking distance from Nan, his legs weaved and brushed by Blackie, the stray cat. Focused on her knitting while sitting stuck in her chair was where you'd find my Nan. Entertaining as she told embarrassing stories of Grandad's nightly toilet trips, of his constant piddling disturbed her sleep, how he would always misplace his glasses and find them next to the toilet seat. For some reason, he takes them off to pee. Why? I don't know. And how he doesn't realise that without them you can't bloody see. I laughed as I swigged dandelion burdock pop, chomped on chocolate cigarettes and rainbow-coloured rock, those sugary treats that Nan bought for me from Ted Gray's in Wednesbury. Nan would jest at Grandad, who just smiled. Yes, Bet, he'd say, as he worked on his TV tan. I'd sit and draw silly characters with him, inanimate objects turned superheroes, all with a big happy grin. A TV, an apple, a lamp, even a dustbin. But to this child, Nan and Grandad were the greatest heroes. I still hear those noisy cockatiels squeal. The feel of those plush koala bears, Tinker and Tucker. Those paint-stripping barley wines that Nan was so inclined to down. The round, golden opal frame upon that 70s stereogram. Played once, never again. The holiday to Wales, singing Crocodile in single file with passion and love at the early hours of the morning. And I'm still in mourning. When the day comes for me to take my leave and fade away, death can take all of me. But I'd ask that these memories stay with me forever, if I'm to never see them again. Thank you. That's that one.
Bible readers. I'll be right on time. I thought so, I can tell. Now, I dare say you're all familiar with the stories in the Bible, the Old Testament stories. We all know them, don't we? What probably didn't know is that not all the stories made the final cut. I mean, they're the best ones. You know, there was a lot submitted, obviously, and they're the committee of one, God, basically. And he said, well, that one, that's a good one, we'll have that. But there are some stories that didn't make it. And I've got a little project. I found some of these stories and I've been translating them into English, you'll be glad to hear. And I thought I'd give you one of these stories. This is one that didn't quite make it into the Old Testament. It's quite a free translation. You know, I've tried to keep some of the spirit of it, but it's quite a free translation. And this is the story of Ohan. You wouldn't have heard of him. O-H-A-N. His name is spelled. Not Onan, that's a different character altogether. We won't go there tonight. Thank you very much. There was a man called Ohan. And it came to pass he was having a bad day. For as he was ploughing his field, he hit a stone and broke the shaft, and yea, his plough was completely knackered. On top of this, his best goat had got a touch of mange, and the fields were as dry as a bone and crying out for rain, for there had not been so much as a spot of drizzle for weeks. Ohan was just about to take the Lord's name in vain, when yea, there was all of a sudden a blinding light, and a deafening sound like thunder or a big aeroplane taking off. Ohan fell to the ground and did prostrate himself, which was very embarrassing for a man of his age. And Ohan did hear a voice calling his name. Ohan, said the voice, this is God speaking. You have found great favour in my eyes and have been chosen. Ohan lay upon the ground, gobsmacked, and spake not. Ohan, went on God, I want you to build an ark. Eventually, Ohan did spake and did say, I'm sorry, Lord, but didst thou say ark? For verily, I'm a bit flummoxed, for I know not what an ark is. Well, said God, it's kind of boat, a big boat. And Ohan did reply, you want me to build a boat? I don't know anything about boats. The only thing I've ever built was this shed, and that blew down the first time the breeze fell on it. Don't worry about that, said God, for I shall give thee full instructions. Well, said Ohan, obvious your decision, Lord, but here's a thought. Bearing in mind your legendary power to create things, heaven and earth and all things, and walk and crawl upon the surface thereof, I'd have thought knocking up a bit of a wooden boat should be a piece of cake. Be much quicker. It's bound to be a lot better than anything I could build. No, said God, thou hast been chosen and that's it, so pay attention and let me finish. Now, it has come to my notice that there's too much wickedness in this world, and men's hearts have become dark and corrupt. You're not wrong there, said Ohan. There's one or two right villains in our village. So, interrupted God, I have decided to send a great flood. Well, we could certainly do with the rain, said Ohan. Not that sort of rain, said God. This will be such a flood that all living things, all the birds of the air and the beasts of the field will be wiped from the face of the earth. Yea, even every man, woman and child, and all those things that do walk and crawl and fly, etc., shall be destroyed, and all the plants as well. Then eventually I'll start again and replenish the earth with life, which is where you and your family come in. Blimey, said Ohan, that's a bit of a bombshell. That's something to get your head round on a Tuesday afternoon. Right, so let's get on with it, said God. Hang on, said Ohan. Let's think this through. I know I said there are some bad ones in our village, but most of them are decent people. They'd give you the clothes off their back, as I know from personal experience. So I don't see why they should be destroyed to pay for the sins of others. That doesn't sound very fair to me. Being omniscient, you know who the baddies are. Couldn't you just deal with them? And leave the good people alone? It don't work like that, said God. And another thing, said Ohan. Why do all the birds and the animals have to be wiped out? That's a bit harsh, isn't it? They haven't done anything wrong. Have you finished? Said God. Not quite, said Ohan. What about the fish and the whales and the octopuses, etc., and all the stuff thereof what lives in the sea? Send a flood, they'd love it. They'd be in their element. If you really want to kill off everything, you should think about a great drought. No water, no life. In fact, come to think of it, with your legendary power and that, you could just zap everything out of existence and then start again, and you forget all this floods and leaky boat nonsense. I think you need to give this more thought. You don't seem to understand, said God. I'm offering you everlasting fame. You'll be one of the most well-known people who's ever lived. They'll be telling your story for thousands of years. Well, that's very kind of you, said Ohan. But if it's all the same to you, Lord, I prefer not to be involved in your plans. Nothing personal, but I just don't think it's me, that's all. Well, I won't say I'm not disappointed, said God. So, I suppose I have to find somebody else. Somebody who'll just do as they're told and won't keep asking stupid questions. Ah, said Ohan. You need to have a word with my neighbour, Noah.
Website, I was shortlisted for the competition. One of my poems was shortlisted, and then Emma Persos got in touch and said, "How would you like to be on the website?" So it was an amazing opportunity, and I took it. And this is the poem that you can see if you go on there. It's called "Befriending a Murder." Today I attempted to befriend a murder, bribing crows with chips in the hopes of gaining their affection. Jet black feathers beautifully contrasted against the snow as they hopped ever closer, realising that I was not foe. Triple-lined claw prints, like little arrows, marked the steps of their happy dances. A hop, skip and a jump towards me, delighted with the offerings. They granted me the privilege of watching their magnificent display. I have never seen so many crows in one place, nor witnessed their gothic beauty up close. I wish I was as carefree as those birds, that I could stretch out my impressive wings, take flight and leave the world behind. Today, I attempted to make friends with a murder. Their first act of friendship was to give me a moment's respite from the pain and a distraction from my broken heart. Thank you.
Explains why it's a big journey for me. Because my world has changed. I sit in my living room and it's so silent. No dogs, either snoring or trumping. No cat making weird sounds behind my head. And no husband watching endless episodes of Weird Dealers. Silence. This is my new normal. So much has happened since I last wrote or spoke. My marriage has ended and I'm finding myself both heartbroken but relieved. At the same time, I'll always love my husband, but after so much brokenness and so much pain, we cannot connect as we used to. It's devastating, but it's true. And I just have to move forward, moving with a heart so full of love for the last almost 27 years. I may have lost a lover. I hope I don't lose a friend. My life feels so strange right now. I'm still in so much pain from losing my son. My heart still aches from the missing. Yet light is slowly creeping in, and my weary mind is starting to feel awake once more. Navigating this new life is going to feel lonely at times, but I would rather be lonely than alone in a relationship. I'm not going to say that life is easy, it isn't, but I'm starting to feel the grit in my stomach rise. I can feel the determination start to strengthen my spine. And hope, oh wonderful hope, oh how I've missed you now. You're here, warming my soul. My house may feel empty, with echoes of memories of the past, but it's nearly ready to welcome a new life, new love, and a whole lot of laughter. They say it's better to have loved than lost, than to never have loved at all. I completely agree, but I also believe that love is not lost. Its tender memories stay with you for your lifetime, and your hopes and dreams aren't gone. They just have to find a new road to travel. So here's to new roads and to many more memories to be made. One foot in front of the other. Here I go.
A refugee is seeking refuge.
All in the name. Refuge. Are we all seeking refuge? People coming across in boats. Boats. Stop the boats. Stop the boats. Stop the fucking boats! That's all I've heard in the past few days. You don't stop the boats, yeah? We're just gonna come another way, ain't they? Opening lorries. Coming underneath lorries. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's what human beings do when they're desperate. I remember I remember meeting one. A kid, 15 years old. 15, come underneath the back of a lorry. I couldn't do that. All for what? Refuge, shelter, safe place for me. Just gonna disregard all those people. Yeah, but you know what? Just coming over here for nothing. No real reason for them to come here. Lock your borders up. Lock your borders. Lock your borders! What the fuck happened to empathy? What happened to this country? I'm from an immigrant family. That's why it affects me more than most other people. Because I see myself in those people, in those kids. Kids drowned in the sea. Did we forget that? We forgot kids drowning. Just to get to these shores and get locked up in detention centres, rotting there, like they ain't human beings. But we are. We are. Nah. Fuck that. People being pulled out of rubble in Turkey and Syria. But pulled out of rubble. Little babies, they call them miracles because they got pulled out of rubble. Rubble, concrete, dust. Pregnant lady gave birth in the rubble. And what did I do? Just gave him 20 quid. Just gave him 20 quid. Charity. Yeah, it's going to go to the right place, isn't it? Yeah, they're going to get some gloves. But that doesn't stop their collective trauma, does it? Their collective trauma. Going through an earthquake. Seeing their loved ones dying. There was a kid, a brother and sister. My sister mentioned to me, she said, look at your niece and nephew. What would they do? What would they do? Just looked at her. She said, thank God it doesn't happen here. Thank God it doesn't happen here. But any moment, boom, you could be in the rubble. But we don't want to think about that. No. We don't want to think about that. Because it's happening to somebody fucking miles away. Miles away from you. Yeah, but just remember, that could have been you. Girls being poisoned in Iran. Poisoned on oxygen machines. All for what? So can you dress like me? So can you dress in Western clothes? Fighting for the fucking life just to dress like us? We take so much shit for granted. You don't even realise it. Because we put the blinkers on. Somebody got raped for me to drink my cup of tea today. I said somebody got raped to drink my cup of tea today. I still drank it. I'm a fucking hypocrite, ain't I? I'm a fucking hypocrite. But I can admit it. I admit I'm a hypocrite. My inner self is a bastard. It's a fucking disgrace. Human rights. Human rights. They said this bill goes against human rights. There ain't no fucking human rights left, man. Not after capitalism. Not after self-consuming. Consume. Materialism. Fuck my inner self, man. Fuck Hope Street. It's been a decade since I've been on that street. And nothing's come of it. All I see is perma-crisis. permacrisis, the cost of things going up, people dying, they're dying. We don't give two fucks. We don't give two fucks. We don't give a fuck about ourselves. Only about ourselves. But it's cool, yeah? Because it's individualism, yeah? Individualism. Fuck the collective. Just care about the only people that are around you. We don't even care about them sometimes, do we? We don't even care about them sometimes. Because we don't want to check in with them. We don't want to text them. We don't ring them. We live in the age of communication. Yeah, it's the age of isolation. Yeah, I said it. We live in the age of communication. Yeah, it's the age of isolation. So we're all anxious as fuck. So am I. So am I. I'm anxious. I don't want to let nobody in. Don't want to get hurt. 'Cause that shit hurts. But we all hurt. We all hurt. My hurt is just the same as your hurt. It's just looked at through a different lens. Maybe I don't want to see anything. Maybe I don't want to see anything. Because it makes me angry. Maybe I should just be blind. Let's all take pictures. Have a false sense of happiness online. Delve into that world. Live in that world. Because nobody wants to face reality. Because reality is shit, isn't it? Yeah, reality is shit. Maybe I should be hopeful. Breathe. Standing. Should be dead by all rights. Should be dead by all rights. So why am I happy? Why am I happy? Why am I not happy? Who knows? Maybe I'll find happiness in peace.